Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trenopole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, do me a favor, if you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button, smash that thumbs up. I am up to 808 subscribers. That is awesome. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Now, if you're watching, like I said, on any of the YouTube or Facebook groups, do me a favor, please jump on over to YouTube, Sports with Strawberry Ice. Give me a view there. Hit the subscribe button. Let's try to get this to 1,000 as fast as we can. Now, this show and every show is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. Okay, I've been dying to talk Reds and trying to get some conversation going, but the Reds haven't really done anything for me to talk about it. Well, today they did. Nothing huge, no big trades, no blockbuster trades or anything like that. But according to industry sources, the club has agreed to deal with outfielder. I'm probably going to mess his name up, but it's Arnell Almond, I think. He's ranked number 26th in the MLB pipeline top 30 international prospects. He signed for $1.9 million. I'm not sure how many years, but that's some guy you could look for in the future. Now, this year's team. The Reds have avoided arbitration with a couple of players. They've come to agreement with Noe Ramirez. He's the guy they acquired in the Raisel Iglesias deal. They signed him for 1 year at $1.75 million. And they avoided arbitration with Michael Lorenzen, 1 year deal. Jesse Winker, 1 year deal. Armin Garrett, one year deal. Now, these are all good things for the Reds because arbitration is terrible for both sides, if you ask me. Now, USA Today is reporting that the MLB is in discussions with the MLB Players Association about bringing back some of the rules that they had last year due to the pandemic, due to, baseball games being so long, and they might have to postpone some because of COVID tests and all that stuff. So they might bring back the 7th-inning doubleheader and extra inning games, starting with a runner on second base. So those are things that, like I said, all of them have to be approved by the Major League Baseball Players Association. All right, now topics for today. And I've titled it, should the Bengals franchise tag WJ3 or Cal Lawson? In my opinion, I don't think they should and I don't think they're going to have to because they're good players. They're not top 5 players. The franchise tag is you get the same amount of money as the top 5 players at your position. WJ3 and Cal Lawson are not there. They are very signable with the Bengals being under the salary cap. I do think it's very possible that the Bengals can sign them to I won't necessarily say a team-friendly deal, but just a good deal for both of them. You front-load it, you give them a big signing bonus, short years, and see what happens. Now, the reason they franchise tagged A.J. Green last year was because he's A.J. Green. He's one of the best wide receivers the Bengals have ever had. So he wanted a long-term contract. With his injuries and everything, he wasn't worth signing to a long-term contract. The Bengals needed to find out what he had left. And the only way really to do it, because he wasn't going to sign a 1-year contract, was the franchise tag, which I didn't blame AJ because he can get more money with the 1-year deal with the franchise. So that made sense to franchise him. To me, it doesn't make sense to franchise Lawson or WJ3. Now, Ohio State fans, Urban Meyer has been officially announced as the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. Now, there are some, I don't want to say rumors, but just thoughts that he would draft Fields over Lawrence and the number 1 pick overall. I don't see that happening, but I've been wrong before. Now, if he does do that, I guarantee you the Jets will take Lawrence, and that makes it an even greater chance that Penei Sewell will drop to the Bengals. These are all things we can discuss with my boy, Jeremy D. Well, let me try to unmute you here first. There you go. Now you're unmuted.
What is up, my brother?
What's going on, buddy? Exactly. So what's your thoughts on the Cal Lawson and WJ3 and Urban Meyer and all that stuff?
Pretty much like we talked about earlier, there's not a top 5 value in Willie J or Cal Lawson. Cal Lawson had, I don't know exactly, I haven't looked up his stats, but he didn't have nowhere near a Myles Garrett or whatever type of year. He's about mid-range, and there is no reason for the Bengals to tag these guys when we have $31 million sitting there that we can front load and get these guys signed and sign a couple extra free agents on the offensive line, such as the guy from the Patriots, Tooney. The guy from
Morton. Carolina.
Morton, there you go. There's no reason why we couldn't sign all 4 of those guys easily, being $31 million under the cap. One thing I like about Mike Brown, there is one good thing that he does do. He front loads contracts.
Right.
So he gives you the money up front. But if you don't produce in 2 to 3 years, you're gone, and then we have money left over to spend on somebody else to come in. So I do agree with a few things that Mike Brown has done as the owner of the Bengals, but to reach for a franchise tag on any of those two, I mean, I can see a few people coming up for Willie J, maybe even 1 or 2 coming for Cal Lawson, but we're not talking big-time bucks here. So I think it'd be very simple to give them a decent contract, a little bit front-loaded, and still get the guys that we want.
Exactly. I agree with you. What's up, Natty?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Nat?
Good. What's your thoughts?
I agree with Jeremy. I mean, Lawson's the number 2 pass rusher. He's a complimentary guy. The thing is it depends on who's open on free agency. And then if there's a big pass rusher, it'll reset the market. So Lawson will probably ask for more money. And WJ3, I mean, I don't think you need to franchise either one of them, but more than likely they'll franchise either one of the 2.
I hope I hope they don't, because that to me that's wasted a lot of money, a lot of cap space that we can use for other players. So I hope they don't, because we need that money for offensive linemen. Now somebody, I can't remember who it was, but after the show made a comment on the YouTube channel and was telling me that I was wrong, that the Bengals need to draft Jamar Chase at the number 5 pick. And I said, I agree with you if they sign at least 1 or 2 offensive linemen. Because I kind of said this on yesterday's show. You can have Jamar Chase. You can have all these guys. But if Joe Burrow is on his back and can't get the ball to him, it's going to be just like this year. So people with that train of thought where you have to get Jamar Chase, to me, that doesn't make any sense. And that's kind of where I'm kind of like with WJ3 and Cal Lawson. We got to be smart with our money. I think they're both really good players, which they are. They're very good players. Are they franchise top 5 players? No. That's why I really hope they don't franchise them. One thing about the Browns, I will say we all can agree with this. Mike Brown and his family are very smart with their money. Sometimes they're too cheap. They don't sign people we need them to sign, but they are usually pretty good at re-signing their own players. So I really do think that they will sign them. I don't think they're going to franchise tag them, but like I said, it's January. We got a ways to go till free agency even starts.
Yeah, that's where I've been on it too. It's just there's so much hypothetical out there, reports out there. We could go on all day till we're blue in the face, like you were saying, Jeff, about this stuff. But until we find out what happens in free agency, we've got $31 million to play around with. That's a lot of money. It may not sound like a lot of money in football terms when people think of full contracts, but we're talking about free money that we don't owe Burrow, we don't owe Boyd, we don't owe Higgins, we don't owe Mixon, we don't owe our great players. So this is money that can be used as a signing bonus to make a a front-loaded stack 2-3 year contract for any of these offensive linemen and our own players, Lawson and WJ3, and still have plenty of money to sign all of our draft picks and have no problems. But you take and franchise WJ3, you're paying him as a top 5 cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would tell you. Well, maybe he wouldn't tell you, but he's not.
Take it.
Exactly. And he's not top 5. He's not a 15 million a year guy. It's just Revis money and all that's gone. It's over with. So,
well, there's only one or two like actual shutdown corners in the NFL anymore. I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of cover guys, but not Deion's, not Revis Island. Those guys, there's not that many of them. I can't really think of anybody to be off the top of my head, to be honest, right now.
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, Ramsey.
Yep.
Or right from the Bills.
Yep. You've got a few, but not like you did back, when Deion was playing and when Revis was around. Teams paying Revis $20 million to come in for 1 year. All this.
Right.
WJ3 is not that player. Carl Lawson is not that player.
No.
He does not deserve top 5 money. And that's why with our salary cap, the way it is right now, we can sign both of them very easily if they want to stay in Cincinnati.
Right.
And sign our draft picks and get a couple free agent offensive linemen and then open up the draft for whoever. If it is Jamar Chase, if we move back, if it doesn't matter. We'll be able to do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about it, Eddie? I don't know.
I agree with you, Jeremy. I think we shouldn't say we need Jamar Chase because then you're pigeonholing yourself as a team to just take one position. Where,
go ahead.
If Panay's there, do you take him even if you already signed a right tackle? Like let's say you get Tyler Morton from the Panthers,
mm-hmm.
and he's probably an elite right tackle. Do you take Pennell? Do you take Sewell, or do you go with Chase? You don't pigeonhole yourself into any draft, because then you're just at that point drafting for need over best player available.
Exactly. That you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what I said in a couple of shows this week, that if they go out and they could sign Tooney and they could sign Morton, then you don't have to take an offensive lineman with your first pick. It opens up the draft so you can take the best player available. You could take Jamar Chase. You could take whoever. You could trade out of it and get more picks. You could do a lot of different stuff. So that, to me, that's why it's imperative that I think the Bengals go out there and be aggressive and go get a tackle and a guard. Now, I also kind of put this back with last summer. We all discussed, and this is on my show a lot last summer, do you sign AJ Green or do you sign Mixon? That was the big discussion last year. And I kept saying, I was reading articles where people were saying, no, you sign AJ. You don't sign running back. And I kept saying, you sign Mixon, but you got to sign him to a team-friendly deal, which is pretty much what he gave the Bengals. I mean, he's still getting paid. Don't get me wrong. He's getting paid good money, but it's not Zeke Elliott money. It's not Christian McCaffrey money. So he didn't handcuff the Bengals, so we got him signed for the next 4 years. And then we were able to franchise tag AJ Green, and people kept saying, we can't do both. We can't do both. Well, they did. So that's where, I'm like, you can do both. And I think they will be able to do it.
Yeah. And if you think about it, about the only guy that even came close to the Pro Bowl this year, for whatever that means, but anyway, was Jesse Bates. We've got him. We've got him signed up. We don't have to pay any. We've got $31 million to spend on free agency and draft picks, and no matter which way we go, Jamar Chase, that'd be a great pick for Burrow, be a great pick for the offense, but to say we must have him or we have to have him, that to me is called reaching. So if there's somebody there that's better, even if we move back, a pass rusher, another offensive lineman, if Sewell's still there, I'd take Sewell still, even if we got another guy in free agency. You can never have enough offensive line for your franchise quarterback.
Stack talent. You got it. You can never have enough talent. Stack your talent. Now, one thing about Jesse Bates, he was named the Pro Football Writers of America MVP for Cincinnati Bengals for 2020. So that's good job on him. All right, Natty, anything else? I got TC and Chris Bengal and Dennis and all these guys want to jump on. You got anything else, buddy?
Nah, I'm good. I'll let everybody else hop on. Thanks for having me on the show again, guys.
All right,
hey,
brother.
thank you, Natty.
Thanks, Natty. Let's cut him off early. All right, Dennis, you were on here. You would have been next in line if you waited. Actually, there you are. I'll go back to you. Hold on, there's Dennis. Hold on.
Dennis, batter up.
DP, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Jim and Dan. I thought Urban Meyer was definitely ill because he had to step down from Ohio State.
You know, I didn't.
Urban Meyer definitely ill.
Yeah, you know when, I don't know if there's any buck nuts watching right now, but I got on there last night, talked to quite a few people, and it was literally 50-50. There were some people that were happy for him, and there were some people that just straight up were pissed off, to be honest with you, for him doing what he's done. He left Florida. He had some sort of brain tumor and aneurysm, whatever. Had headaches, that kind of thing. Was causing headaches.
There's never had surgery on any of this, though.
No, never. I have not seen a doctor report on none of this. So, and he comes to Ohio State, says he's going to retire here, back home, and he takes us to a championship, which I'm thankful for, Dennis. I mean, I'm thankful for that championship. I really am. But then he kind of bails out on us, and he waits a couple years, and now he's going to the Jaguars for a huge amount of money, which I can understand. Who says no to that kind of money? But It is a little awkward how it happened with Urban, and that's just kind of I'm mid-level with it. You know, I'm struggling to try to just be okay with it.
Yeah, my thing is how long is he going to be there? Because I mean, every time he's left, it's always health, always health issues. Put that quotation marks. But if you look at how the team was when he left, there's always some kind of controversy, With Florida, you had Hernandez that was there and a couple other, not so great character guys. And then with Ohio State, you had the thing with the wide receivers coach, I think it was. That was the thing. So you always
on his wife or whatever,
Yeah, you always have something. Then all of a sudden, my health issues are going bad, So it's always, to me, I'm not saying he doesn't have health issues. He might. I don't know. But it's also awfully convenient when, it gets hot in the kitchen, you get out and he jets when the fire gets hot. So I don't know. I mean, I personally, he's got a chance at being a good NFL coach. I think he's got to get NFL coordinators, legit. And like same thing I said about Zach Taylor, which I don't think he's got NFL legit coordinators, but I think Urban's got to get NFL legit coordinators. I think he's got a better shot of doing it than Zach does. But he could be good, but they got to have somebody, I think, who is in place for when his health issues pop up again.
Exactly. What do you think about it, Dennis? You brought it up, man. What do you think?
I think he was just waiting on seniors to get the number one pick so he can coach Trevor Lawrence. But how are you going to tell the men now to buy into him? Because it's a character thing now. I don't know. It's hard.
That's true. That's very true.
Like Nick Saban, he went to the Dolphins and he left.
Right.
And
left him in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, too, I think it's also a almost an ego thing with Urban. I mean, since he's won championships at college championships at two different schools, and to be if he ever wins a Super Bowl with Jacksonville, he'd be the fourth coach to win championships in college and then win one in the NFL. And you got Jimmy Johnson, you got Barry Switzer, which Barry Switzer to me never really counts because he won it with Jimmy Johnson's players and only did it 1 year. But anyway, and then you got the coach out of Seattle,
Pete Carroll.
Yeah, Pete Carroll. So to me, it could be also an ego thing. It's a lot of money, like you said. So I don't know how it's going to happen or how it's going to work out, but we'll see.
And I don't know that he's going to take Lawrence. You never know. I mean, he could pull a fast one and take Fields. he's watched Fields a lot more closely and probably on the field more than he's actually watched Lawrence. So you never know it with Urban. And he is a fast-paced running quarterback style, which Lawrence gives you that a little bit too. Fields probably gives you a little more in the run game. Lawrence probably gives you a little more in the throwing game, but Fields is pretty damn impressive in both. But anyway, you never know.
Natty's got a good point here. Meyer also picked Haskins over Joe freaking Burrow too, so you never know.
Yeah, Haskins had a record-breaking year, though. I mean, so you never know what would have happened. I mean, it could have been LSU thing, or it could have been a complete – it wouldn't have worked out for him. You never know.
Now, Anthony Long saying he just got Charles Long as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
Which he's another college guy, which is kind of – I mean, he's a good coach, but he's another college guy. I would think he would try to get NFL coaches. You know, Long was the former Texas head coach.
Yeah, he also took the Buckeyes player conditioning coach. So he's taken quite a few college coaches with him to Jacksonville. So, like I said, I don't like it but I wish him the best because we won a championship with him 5 years ago, and I'm thankful for that. So, whatever.
Exactly. All right, Dennis, got anything else? You got a couple other guys wanting to jump on.
Yeah, I got one more thing.
What's up, buddy?
What do you think about Zach Taylor? People that I think the Brown family thought they was going to get the next McVay because Belichick disciples, most of them never panned out. They thought they're going to get the hottest thing, but they want the person. You got to get the coach. You try to get the assistant coaches to be whatever they're trying to do. It doesn't work. But we're hoping and praying that guy becomes that coach or even some part of it. We're going to die before it happens. We need winners.
Belichick, guys who've been assistant coaches.
Yeah, Eric Mangini didn't pan out.
Yeah.
He went to the Jets. He got fired.
Right, yeah. They haven't worked out so well. And I know the offensive coordinator for the Rams, I think the Titans want him. It hasn't stopped yet that they still want these assistants. The thing is, it's just like Eric Bieniemy, who I've talked about. I wanted him as the Bengals' next head coach. Yeah. It's just the way it is, Dennis. And the only hope that I can give Bengals fans is I just keep going back to the Tennessee Titans game when we actually had the offensive line work, we had defensive line work, and you see what Zach Taylor's offense was trying, what he wants it to be. And to me, the other thing I will give Zach credit for is when he had Joe Burrow healthy, and he did it with Allen, and he did it with the other quarterback, not Fields. Anyway, the third string guy who beat the Steelers. He tailored the offense.
Yeah, Finley.
Finley. Thank you. He tailored the offense to what the team could do. With Joe Burrow was there, the best thing, and I've said this, I know you've heard me say this, Dennis, that the best thing the Bengals could do and the most consistent thing they could do was a 3-step drop and get rid of the ball fast. And that's what most of our offense was when he was there, because the offensive line was so bad, and we ran it occasionally, but we didn't run it as good as we'd like to because, we couldn't. So I got prefacing this with, if we fix the offensive line, like we should, then hopefully Zach has shown that he has been able to work with what he has. So will he be the next disciple? I have no idea. I am with you, Dennis. I pray. I hope he is, because if he's not, we're screwed, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just hope he matures and does a lot better from his third season. I mean, he gets to crest, not decrest. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody was looking for the next Sean McVay, but this league is, what have you done for me?
I thought he was a little bit too young, and he didn't know much about coaching, and he's the hottest thing out there. Remember, like Marvin Lewis, he was the hottest thing up because they won the Super Bowl. Man, we got to get him. He is hot to trot. We get him. What the hell? I mean, we did a little bit good, but
Brandon has an interesting take. He said, "I'm actually expecting Fields to stay in college."
I would love
almost
it, but
100% guarantee you he will not do that.
Yeah.
He's at least the number. He's almost guaranteed to be the number 2 pick. if not the number 3 pick,
top 5, top 10 money is just you can't walk away from it and get hurt.
No, exactly.
But going back to Taylor just real quick, this is all on Taylor. He brought back Pollock. We found out they did interview 2 other guys, not just Fraley from Detroit, but there was some other guy. Maybe y'all can help me out if you've read the report. But anyway, they went with Frank Pollock. He decided to keep Lou. Mike Brown has gave Zach Taylor pretty much the keys this year to do what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. Offense, defense, draft, free agency. And if this year is like the last 2 years, he is GONE.
I hope so. He's gone. I mean, I hope he does better, but I hope they don't say, well, I believe in him. I see a glimmer of hope. That's what Mike Brown thinking. Well, I see a good person. Well, he can get it done.
Yeah.
But as fans, we want results, not like hope.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I think Mike Brown's found out he's had enough of Marvin Lewis to find out you can't do that anymore. But what's up, Chris Bengal, too, buddy?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't realize I was on. I was about ready to doze off. I'm sorry.
You're on, brother. What's up?
Oh, not so much. It's got a lot of living downhill and in the South, just here on the sports station. Let's see, how can I say this? Justin Fields, the reports are that he is not going to stay in college. Him and other guys have made a decision today, and they are 100% going to the draft.
Oh, yeah.
John Way's gone. Fields gone.
2, it's a toss-up because now I'm probably going to go back on my pick of Trevor going to Jacksonville because the reports are that Miles and Trevor, don't fit in Miles, playbook. So they could do a chuckle and not even get Trevor. And Atlanta Falcons, there's rumors are going around they may sign Matt Ryan to 1 more year, and then rumors are going around that this is GM that they're thinking about hiring. He's always saying that the Falcons want Justin Fields, so Justin Fields might go to the Falcons. They want to sign Matt Ryan to 1 more, get him 1 more year. So that's just what I'm hearing downhill, But I will go for Smith, for our Bengals or Sewell. But it just, damn it. Oh, excuse me. It's just too early. To tell.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Too early.
What's going to happen? And I'm going to be honest with you. Shoot. I'm really worried about my Bengals. Our Bengals. Excuse me.
Right.
And if they don't. I don't know what some of the Bengals fans are smoking. Think that we should get a wide receiver for us. If we don't fix our line, Joe Burrow's he's gonna get hold again, and all that money that we're spending on Joe, it's gonna go down the drain.
All right. Hey, let me answer this question real quick. Crip wants to know if there's any word of the Bearcats defensive coach. I have not heard anything of people who they're going to sign. They haven't announced a new defensive coordinator yet. So Crip asked that a while ago. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I was just going to say, and back at Natty, I noticed one of his comments. He said, here recently, a lot of the Buckeyes quarterbacks haven't turned into great quarterbacks in the NFL. That's very true. Not many Alabama quarterbacks have been great in the NFL for a long, long time as well. But this is a new year. You got Mac Jones. You got, you got Fields. You never know.
You got five quarterbacks that could be starting quarterbacks in the NFL. 5 of them, their potential.
And Fields completely lined it up.
And these NFL coaches drool over it. And like I said, what they want is that quarterback and the rookie contract, build around them and go win the Super Bowl. Now, Natty also says if the Bengals make the playoffs, they would keep him for another year. Well, of course they would.
Oh, yeah.
And if the Bengals make the playoffs, I have no problem keeping Zach Taylor for another year. That's what we all want. So
if he don't make the playoffs, they all need to be gone. Everybody that he kept and himself. But if he makes them, hell yeah.
I got a question for you and D. This was a fantasy thought.
hey, Dennis, I'm gonna let you jump off here. You've been off for a little while. TC wanted
Okay,
to get on.
bye.
All right, buddy. See you. Thanks, man.
I'll finish up till then. Somebody else to get on.
You good, buddy? Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, but when Tula was so hot, and then he went down, and once he went down, Joe ate it up. Let's just say as Tula never got hurt, and the Bengals draft Tula, and then whoever got second pick would draft Joe. Do you think that Tula will probably be a lot better than Joe for our Bengals? Not Joe in Miami that he sucks down there, but you think Tula would probably do a little bit better uphill as Tula than Joe?
The Bengals drafting Burrow had nothing to do with Tua getting hurt. Joe Burrow was getting drafted number 1 before Tua got hurt. He was having too good of a year. I mean, I'll put it this way. I first noticed. I noticed him the very first game. They had that used to have week 0. It was LSU versus Texas, and I'm like, wow, LSU's actually got a quarterback. I was like, who is this? That's the first time I noticed him. Then when he beat Alabama, I'm like, oh, dude, I want him. That's who I want the Bengals to get. So that's where
you didn't notice when he was with the Buckeyes, man. You didn't watch the spring game?
No, didn't watch. I don't even watch the Bearcat spring game, dude. What's up, TC?
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Love the name change, man. Love the name change. Keep it coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna change it to TC, not a Browns fan.
What up, brother?
What's up?
You and your flat bill hat.
Yeah, I know. This is like 10 years old.
It still says you're under 20. I'm just playing with you, brother. Go ahead, man. What you got?
What were we talking about? I just got on here, so can you explain to me what we was talking about? Like, I just jumped on.
You're supposed to watch the show and come with it, not us help you out.
What do you want us to do, man? No, we've been talking Bengals, Urban Meyer, Zach Taylor, whatever, everything.
Talk about him getting to the Jaguars?
Yeah. Some of that.
I expect him to be a good team. He's a good coach.
Well, we're going to find out because the Bengals will be playing Jacksonville next year.
Yep.
Well, I hate to say this, but Zach Taylor, I just don't think Zach Taylor's a good coach for us.
Well, as a Bengals fan, I hope we're all wrong because I don't think he is either, but I hope we're all wrong. Joe says, talk about Urban. He didn't really step down for medical reasons. It was mostly from Zach Smith incident because he was keeping it hush hush. Like
that's what Jeff was saying.
That's kind of what I was saying. But they also did. I mean, if you guys remember last year, he was like all of a sudden, my head hurts, and he did. Yes, it was because of that, but he also did blame medical reasons. That was his excuse of why he did it. But the reason he did it, that's why.
Yeah, and multiple players at Florida. My health. I'm going home to retire in Ohio, and we all see how that went now. So
right, exactly. Now
he hasn't really record.
He hasn't really worked.
Good record, like coaching record, in Florida and Ohio State.
Yeah, it's college.
Yeah.
So I mean, we don't know if it's going to translate to the NFL. Well, that's the biggest question.
Maybe it's just me because I'm an Ohio State fan, being that, but I do really believe he'll be a good coach.
Oh, I'm an Ohio State fan myself, but I mean, look what happened to Nick Saban. He left like a butterfly in the night, bro. He got the hell out of Miami. I mean, and he didn't even really give anybody much of a notice. I mean, he just found out that he was not cut out for it. He ran to Alabama, the first team that would give him a bunch of money, and he's been here ever since. And hopefully Ryan Day has watched both of these guys, and he stays at Ohio State, and he don't leave it for some ridiculous team in the NFL.
Brandon's got a comment here. How amazing would it be if we had to move on from Taylor and Bieniemy was still there next year? But let's hope Zach is good enough for the next 20 years. If Mike Brown is wrong on Zach Taylor, which we all think he is. I mean, I think he is, but I also think that there is a chance that Zach could be a good coach if we get enough players around him, enough talent. But if he is wrong, and we are on to year 3 of Joe Burrow's contract, and it's a 5-year option. So you really only got.
You mean next year?
2. Yeah. If they're wrong next year and the Bengals stink again, then 2022, Joe Burrow's in year 3, and we haven't made the playoffs or anything like that. It's going to be really hard for Bengals fans to. That's where I'm like, there's no way if Zach Taylor fails again this year, there's no way that Mike Brown is bringing him back. I don't see how he can.
I don't know about that. Mike Brown's, he's like, look what he did with Marvin Lewis.
I think
but Marvin Lewis, Marvin Lewis kind of earned that. Marvin Lewis went to playoffs. Marvin Lewis would have winning team. If Zach Taylor has another year like he did the last 2 years, there ain't no way in hell they're keeping him.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. On top of that, he's never had a winning season.
Right.
And this is his 3rd year. So 3 years and no winning season with Burrow, 2 years.
Well, he's gone.
1.5.
Yeah.
That ain't going to cut the mustard. And I think Mike Brown learned from the Marvin Lewis experience that even with 5 playoff appearances, you don't win. You can't win in the playoffs. You got to find somebody in Cincinnati to get this fan base revved up. And I don't see him keeping Zach if we have another 5-6 win year at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess I could see that, but I think you would have to. How many games? I don't know. How many games do you think you would have to win to keep it?
You talking about Zach?
Yeah.
Playoffs.
That's me. He's got to go to the playoffs.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's about right.
I'm telling you, if they fix the offensive line, if they just fix the offensive line, we got a good shot of going to the playoffs. I want to fix the defensive line too, but they just fix the offensive line and the defense can at least keep them close. We got a shot of going to the playoffs next year. I really do believe that because we have Joe freaking Burrow, and I can't emphasize. Huh?
It's going to be a tough schedule from what I've read.
Go ahead, buddy.
It's going to be a tough schedule for what I read. So.
Yeah, but I mean, they've had tough schedules before. I mean,
yeah.
To be a playoff team, look, to win a playoff game, you got to play good teams. So I'd rather be a playoff team through a tough schedule than an easy schedule and go get our ass kicked in the first round.
Yeah. I'd rather win the Super Bowl.
I'd rather do that too. That would be great. All right, TC, brother, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for joining the show, brother.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, TC.
All right, let's get to some of these. The chat's blowing up here, so I'm trying to get to you guys' question or your comments here, but it's kind of hard when I got three things going on at once. All right, the natural Dolphins need to give Tua another year before deciding to move on, and Natty, that's the thing. NFL on these college quarterbacks, these guys are coming in slinging it, and if you can pretty much tell in the first year. Definitely the second year if they're going to be good, I think, anymore because they're so prepared to play in these NFL offenses. So, and Miami's ready to win with their defense. And if they can get a quarterback, I think that's all they're missing, which Tua might be it, Tua might not be it, but it doesn't look like they're exactly sold on him. No. And then they said, so when Meyer fails in the NFL, he's going to use medical reasons as an excuse again. Most likely, yes.
He's done it twice. He's repeated himself 2 times. I don't see why he wouldn't use it a third time. It worked. Right.
Exactly. And Gitlow's got the schedule for the Bengals, which it's going to be a tough schedule. I mean, like I said, that's what I mean. Jeremy said it multiple times. That's why this was the year to go to the playoffs. It would have been easier because we had an easy schedule. Well, they didn't do it, so they made it harder on themselves. But you get Tooney, you get Morton, Jamar Chase. Dude, and fix that, defensive line. I really do think we have a shot at going to the playoffs because I hope I'm right on this. I think the Squealers are finally going to go downhill for once. That would be nice.
As Big Ben gets older and he starts getting, he's already older, and I have a feeling they're already looking to replace him most likely. But, with Trey Waynes coming back, you sign WJ3. Bates and Bell, DJ Reader coming back, get a couple good linemen, sign Alexander to another, maybe give him a 2-year contract this time or whatever he's willing to do, team friendly. And I can see our defense being completely solid with a couple decent pass rushers in the draft or wherever they may come from, and a great offensive line to protect the main thing, the only thing that wins you Super Bowls at the end of the day at this age is mainly your quarterback. I mean, defense, you got to get stops on defense. You got to win on defense. You can't give up what we were doing this year, 7 out of 10 third downs, 10 out of 12 third downs. You can't do that. But at the same time, you got to put up points. The Chiefs have showed that, and they've won Super Bowls doing it.
And the thing is, what I pray that Armadillo does not do next year is when you're 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 3, don't back up 5 yards and give them the freaking first down. I'm like, to me, that's where I'm like, they kept saying you gotta get pressure on the quarterback. You gotta get pressure on the quarterback. Then freaking blitz them. I would rather get beat being aggressive than get beat backing off. I would take that. That's one thing I give Zach Taylor credit. How many times did he go for it on 4th down this year? He had a very high, legit. You all right there, buddy? Your back messing up.
It's good.
look like you're in pain.
But
he had a very high conversion rate and of going for it on 4th down. So those are things I did. I honestly think Zach attacked an offense more, and everybody say, well, he threw the ball all over the place. Well, yeah, he did. But that's also, I think, his version of attacking and doing what the Bengals could do. So that's why I think it was a difference of philosophy on both sides of the ball. I think the Bengals offense attacked way more than the defense did. And that's one thing. If we fix the offense line or fix the defense line, Armadillo needs to go after the quarterback, and he's got to get pressure on him. You don't have to blitz every time, but hopefully you get a good enough front four that you can put pressure on him with the front four, and that you're good enough to do with that. That's how you play winning football. But if you can't, then you got to blitz sometimes. And I don't think he blitzed nearly enough with what he had.
Yeah, and I know you would be the first one to agree with this too. In so many games this year, when we did blitz, we did get aggressive, and our defense played well. It seemed like our offense played conservative, and we weren't really putting the gas pedal down, and it got a little frustrating. The defense will look great one game and conservative offense the next, blah blah blah. But
what ain't consistency? But exactly. I think the offense was more aggressive, more aggressive than the defense was. The defense, he was never. Yes. I won't say never aggressive, but very, very few times that Armadillo was aggressive. Very few times. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, Thunder, what's his name here? Thunderbolt wants to know, Jeremy D, what happened? And I don't know what he or she's talking about. Do you?
No.
So, we don't know. We don't know what you mean. What happened?
That'd be a little more specific, bro.
All right, get low. If you had New England's coach in the last 2 years, the Bengals would not be going to the playoffs. If you had New England's coach in the last 2 years, the Bengals would not go to the playoffs.
So if Belichick was our coach, we would still be losers.
That's kind of the way I'm reading it, but I mean, not with Joe. I mean, one thing. Okay, I'll put it to you this way. One thing I want all my listeners to kind of do some homework on the playoff games this year or this weekend. I almost guarantee you the team who wins at the line of scrimmage is going to win the game. Whoever can run the ball the best, protect the quarterback the best, stop the run, and get pressure on the other team's quarterback, they're most likely going to win the games. Now, like he says, we have Joe freaking Burrow. We have the biggest toy that you want and need. If there isn't a bigger explanation of what happens if you don't have that toy, look at Bill Belichick. He's arguably the greatest coach in NFL history. He lost Tom Brady. Tom Brady is playing this weekend. Bill Belichick's been sitting at home. He didn't go to the playoffs. So you can have the best coach in football. If you don't have that quarterback, it doesn't matter. I won't say it doesn't matter, but it makes it a lot easier to win Super Bowls and to win this. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody's getting on Zach Taylor. He's a terrible coach. I agree. I don't think he's that great of a coach, but there is a chance, and talent wins out. You got to have talent on the offensive line. You got to have talent on the defensive line. Those are the two most important things.
Yep, and it's pretty amazing, really. I don't want to bash the Buccaneers because I don't want anybody that I may know to get angry at me, but wife. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. It's pretty amazing how things change when you bring in he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, so there's no question there. But, the Buccaneers were not exactly great with Jameis Winston.
30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. That's what Jameis did last year.
There you go. And then you bring in Tom Brady, not a whole lot else. I mean, unless and Jen probably knows a lot more about him than I do, but I didn't see them making a big splash.
I mean, they brought in a couple guys. They brought Gronkowski in. They brought in older guys. They brought in the running back from Jacksonville. He went to LSU.
Fournette.
Yeah, brought in Fournette.
Yeah,
I mean, they did bring in some guys, but they brought AB in, but their main guys that he throws to were already there. Their offense and their defense wasn't the problem with the Buccaneers. The problem with the Buccaneers, they had a guy who threw 30 interceptions. That's the problem. It's hard to win when you throw 30 interceptions. So that's where I'm at. Like, everybody's down on keeping Zach Taylor. But like I said, we have a chance, even with Zach Taylor, to win and to win a Super Bowl. But you got to have talent. And I'm not trying to bang on the Buckeyes. Don't take it this way at all. But if you look at the Buckeyes in the championship game, their secondary could not keep up with Alabama. Talent. They had more talent in wide receiver position than Ohio State had in their secondary.
It just comes down to, every year is different in college,
Yeah. But I guess my point is you can have the best coach. If you don't have the quarterback and you don't have the talent around that quarterback, it doesn't matter. You got the greatest coach ever. You got to have talent on the field. You bar none. You have to have talent on the field. You have to have that offensive line, because that's the biggest thing that the Patriots did the 20 years or whatever that Tom Brady was there. They had a solid offensive line. They did, and a solid defense. That's how Bill Belichick won. They didn't have a lot of toys. That's where when Bengals fans drive me nuts, we got to get Jamar Chase. No, we don't got to get him. We got to get an offensive line and a defensive line. That's what we have to get.
And then in the draft, if it happens that way, then that's great. But we've got to make sure we have taken care of the offensive line before we do anything else. And that is with free agency, draft, flip-flop. It doesn't matter. That has to be priority one. Priority two, getting another one or two good pass rushers on the defensive line. And three, then we can worry about luxury picks is what I like to call them. Such as
toys. Toys.
Yeah.
You let you pick toys. That's what that's what I call them. But the meat and potatoes of it is you got to win it in the trenches. You have to. And that, if you watch the Bengals games this year, that's the biggest problem. We couldn't stop the other team because the quarterback could just sit back there, eat a sandwich, do whatever he wanted, fix his makeup, and throw the ball. And then running backs had, wide open holes running. And then the tight end or the wide receivers running right over the middle, wide open.
A cornerback can't stay on a wide receiver for 8-9 seconds. I mean, it's just not built that way. That's not the way football is. And that's what I talked
Deion
earlier
Sanders couldn't do that.
Yeah, well, once in a lifetime generation talent you could look at.
Deion couldn't even cover him that long, I don't think.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm getting at. You cannot do it without a pass rush. If we have a pass rush And even if we make the guy, even if we rush the quarterback, make him go outside the pocket, that makes it 50% harder for him to complete a pass when he is on a full run throwing over his back shoulder. So we didn't do that. We didn't do it. Marcus Hunt didn't do it. Cal Lawson done it some. He at least got him out of the pocket, didn't get many sacks. Hubbard, he had a few sacks too. He'd get him out. But, man, we've got to get more talent on that defensive line. No doubt about
it. We have to. That is bar none the it's one. It's not. I won't even say that's bigger than the offensive line. It's 1A, 1B. They're both the lines on both sides of the ball. You got to fix. I mean, there's no ands, if, or buts about it. That's what has to get fixed. I mean, it just drives you nuts. And Bengals fans like, oh, well, we got to do this and we got to do that, and it's like there's lots of options, and the Bengals have money to do it. And I really do think Mike Brown will spend the money again, to get it, because Mike knows we're not showing up for this crap again, I mean, and if he goes out and signs one or two offensive linemen, trust me, the fan base is going to be ecstatic. The day the Bengals sign one of these guys, I will be going live instantaneously on my phone, and doing a show to get you guys' reaction.
Exactly.
Now, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, I just want to add that they were negligent of that offensive line for years. Ever since they let Whitworth and Zeitler go, that's when the line went to crap.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
And as much as I want to say it's Taylor, all of it falls on Duke Tobin.
Yes.
Like John Ross, there was no reason to have taken John Ross. They could have taken a tackle. I think, was it Conklin was there? Or who's the one from the Ravens?
Yeah, he might have been. I don't remember offhand.
There were a ton of good players that we could have taken. Defense, offense.
Yeah. The thing is, I know we've said this. You've heard me say this, Natty. That year, they had four guys. They're all free agents at the same time. Zeitler, Whitworth, Mohamed Sanu, and Marvin Jones. You should have signed Whitworth, and you should have signed Zeitler. You signed those two, then, it would have kept this team, I think, maybe not playoffs, but at least they would have been competitive. And I'm not saying they would have. They probably still would have drafted Ross, because they had to, in their mind, they had to fix, losing two wide receivers and didn't have anybody there. But that was also when they didn't sign free agents. I mean, this past offseason, that's the most free agents that I can remember the Bengals ever signing. So I think that was a change in philosophy with the Bengals that I hope doesn't change. I hope they keep doing it. And from all indications of articles and things that the coaching staff and Zach has said, is that's what they're going to do again.
Yeah, and if we wouldn't let those two guys go, paid the big bucks for Whitworth, kept Zeitler, we probably wouldn't be. We'd probably still be. We could very easily still be a winning team, organization. Those two guys. That's a big. Them are two big losses.
I just thought of this. It just hit me while you're saying this. Yes, if we do all that too, and we don't go through and say we are a playoff team again or a winning team, guess who we don't get?
Joe Burrow.
Exactly. So in my mind, it was terrible. It was stupid. I hope they learn from their mistakes, but I always try to look at the happy part. If they don't do that, we don't get Joe Burrow. So,
unless we would have just gave up our whole draft for this year and next to move up for him, like a Mike Ditka type move, that would be.
I don't see Mike Brown doing that.
No.
No. So I don't know. I mean, it's just, the thing is, I hate going back to the past, because yes, they did this, they did that. I try to look at the recent past, the past offseason of what they did. They had a plan. I don't know why the offensive line wasn't in their plan, but I do know why. His name's Jim Turner, and he got fired.
But it is now.
But it is now, and that's the thing. Moving forward, it is now. Joe Burrow he's walking around, no limp, no nothing, no knee brace. He's to the point where he said the fun part begins. He's going to start throwing here, hopefully by the middle of next month. So he's on track to start game 1. If he's going to, I don't know. And they already got Burrow hurt. So I guarantee you the offensive line is going to get fixed. If they don't do anything else, they're going to fix that.
And speaking of Burrow real quick, and then Natty, I'll let you go on with whatever else you got, man. But, I'm just wondering who's going to be hiking Burrow that ball. Burrow's not going to make it back for training camp. He's not going to make it back preseason. I want to know in practice who's going to be hiking that ball, who's going to be hiking that shotgun ball. He better practice like if it's Finney, if it's Price, whoever it's going to be. But we are going to be without Hopkins for quite a few games, and that's one thing that puts a little glitch. I see there's so much that we can take care of. We can take care of everything. We might even be able to get a center in the 5th round that's better than both of them. I don't know.
Right.
Take care of it right there. But if not, the center is what worries me the most, because that's the guy hiking the ball over people's heads, that low outside, and that ruins the timing of the plays. That ruins everything for the wide receivers, everything. So
I got a bad feeling it's going to be Billy Price.
I have a feeling, and I hope not. I just. Yeah.
What do you think, Natty?
Competition. What do you think, Natty?
Take one in the 3rd or the 2nd.
Right.
But going back to 2018 when they took Price, I still thought James Daniel, I think he's a guard now for the Bears, was a better player because, one, he was younger than Price, and he had more upside physically because he didn't have the limitations of Billy Price being a limited athlete at the position and having shorter arms than he would like. So I thought they should have taken James Daniel, but like you guys said, they have to address center, and I think they should take one in the draft. That's probably most likely what they'll do. But going back to, they brought in Frank Pollock probably because they wanted him to get some development out of guys like what's his name? Fred Johnson, Adeniji,
right?
Michael Johnson, and I personally do think we might see these guys take a big step, but at this point they're probably all regulated to backups because the offensive line takes more priority.
I think Fred Johnson, the best case scenario, Fred Johnson, Bobby Hart, Billy Price are all backups next year, and hopefully Surflow or Spain is a backup. Could be signed to guard.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
No,
I think we've said it from week 3. These guys are good players as backups. I think they came up on the show like week 3, week 4. They're just not starters. But as a backup to come in for a game, 2 games, whatever, hey, they're okay. They're fine. All those players. Center is the problem. That's the only thing I am literally.
That's what ticks me out. That wasn't a problem. Last game of the freaking season, he's got to tear his ACL. And the weird thing is, I don't know. I wonder how bad. I'm sure there's different variations of tears, but he walked off the field. He was limping. He didn't get carried off. That's why I was shocked that it came out. The next day or 2 days later, they tore his ACL. I'm like, really? So I'm kind of curious of how bad it is. I'm hoping it's not that bad. He can come back and only misses 1 or 2 games, and we go on from there. But now Gitlow has something here, which he says that Billy Price is a better center than guard. He did good when Hopkins was out. There were games he did good. There's a game. I think he was the center in the Tennessee game, and he got the game ball. So that game he did do good. But there are also games where he hacked the ball over Burrow's head, and it's just like everything else with the team this year.
Bull rushed, he's like Billy Price to me is like the offensive line center equivalent of John Ross. He had 4 good games, over his whole career here. That's kind of the way Price is. He's had 4 or 5 good games where you're like,
so inconsistent.
Maybe he can. Yeah, exactly. Just and completely be horrible for 5 games in a row. And we all watched it. We all seen it play out. And that's kind of the way I look at Price. You never know what you're getting each and every Sunday. Whoever he's going up against, it don't matter. He's just never consistent. That's perfectly said.
And that was the biggest problem with the Bengals this year was they were consistently inconsistent. And I mean, the only thing that I don't know about what do you think about this, Natty, but the only thing I think the Bengals were consistently good at was a 3-step drop and a short passing game.
Mhm.
Other than
Well,
that,
that's all
I
they
don't think
could
they.
do at that point.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's all they could do at that point because they couldn't expect the line to hold up for more than 2-3 seconds at a time.
Exactly, and
That's why we did 5 wide receiver sets and all them things.
Right.
Just quick.
Yeah, and that's where I that's where I give Zach credit. He knew that, and we did it a lot. That's where I don't give Duke. And I blame more of the way this team was structured last year on Duke Tobin. You know, for them to even think that this offensive line was good enough to make it another year and not really add. I mean, they added Surfilo. That's or Surflo. Well, how do you say his name? He's the only one they added. You know, I mean, they drafted what's his face from Kansas, the rookie. I can't think of his name right now. Adeniji. Thank you. They drafted him, so they added 2 guys, but nobody that was a legit starter. You know, nobody. It was like, well, maybe he can beat this guy out. Maybe he, maybe nothing was like, all right, if we sign Tooney, he's our starting guard. We sign Morton, he's our starting right tackle. That there won't even be a competition about it. That's what we need. We need solid guys. And that's what they did in the secondary. I mean, Bell, he's going to start. Wayne's, he was going to start, but he got hurt. You knew these things. When they signed them, those are starters. They didn't do that on the offensive line. And I hope they should do that this year.
Go ahead, Natty. Whatever you got, man.
I was gonna say if you sign Tooney and then you sign Morton, then you have your entire right side of the line done. All you need is maybe Spain or Sufilu plays left guard. You get Trey Hopkins back. Now your line goes from being terrible to at least average or maybe above average. And now
I think it'd be above average.
Oh yeah.
It might jump up. Our wins might jump from 4 to 8 to maybe 10. Maybe.
You get 10 wins, you got a shot at the playoffs. I mean,
so
10,
Unlucky being in this division, with 10 wins, because in this division, 10 wins sometimes don't get you there, though it should. Even though we're watching a 7-9 team play last week, and that was a debacle. Give me a break.
The only that scares that I'm worried about with the Steelers is, Squealers, is if Ben does come back, and even if he doesn't come back, I wouldn't be. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are legit out there that they could trade. I mean, you got Carson Wentz, they could trade for him. You got oh my goodness, well, I hate when I can't think of guys' names. The back James Winston. I mean, he got him. You got Marcus Mariota. I mean, these are guys that are legit.
Yeah.
Cam Newton. These guys are legit quarterbacks that could start. I mean, and then the rumors are, which I don't really know if this is going to happen or not, but you got Deshaun Watson. The Texans might trade him. I don't know if they're really going to or not, but I don't want. I could see the Steelers being active in that and getting somebody, because they don't have anybody to replace Ben now. I'm kind of surprised they haven't addressed it, more up until now. So that's the only. That's what they did.
Yeah, I could see him taking one in the draft myself.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, if one of these 5 guys falls that far, you never know.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, guys, I want to get your take. You think Urban Meyer works at the NFL level? I don't think he does personally.
I don't think so either myself, but you never know. But
I mean, to me, he could if he has the right NFL guys around him and he runs it more of like a CEO and he's not hands-on with everything. If he has legit NFL offensive coordinator, a veteran one, and has a veteran legit defensive coordinator, that's what I think he needs to do. So if that happens, then he could. He's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. He's a good coach. It's hard to say either way, to be honest. But he could, and then he might fall flat on his face.
Yeah, you never know. And just real quick, I noticed Steve's comment there. You popped up.
I was going to get to that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in my opinion, and I'll read it out, and Jeff and Natty, whatever. But he's saying sign Willie Jackson III and tag Carl and see if Carl Lawson stays consistent. My deal with that is you sign Willie J. If you tag Carl Lawson, you are paying Carl Lawson top dollar money, top 5 in the league money.
Mm-hmm.
He's nowhere near top 5 in the league, bro.
No.
And that's just kind of where I'm at on it. That's why I think we should offer him a good little signing bonus, give him a nice team-friendly deal, and let him hang in there with us. If somebody else offers him more, which I don't see happening, well, so be it. But, man, you can't – Carl Lawson is not a franchise player. You know, that's what the tag is for, is a franchise – like a Chad Johnson in his prime, and we're trying to work out a deal with him. Yeah, you franchise him until we can work out that deal. But Carl Lawson's just not that type of impact player to me. And even anywhere you look, he's not in the top 5 or close to the top 5 when it comes to sacks, pass rush, that type of thing.
Like we said, we think he had, I don't know offhand, I think he might have 5, 6, maybe 4. And the thing is, and like Steve said, he stays consistent. He wasn't consistent this year. I mean, just like the rest of the Bengals. What do you think, Natty?
I don't even think you have to pay him top 5 money though, because I don't know what team is gonna pay him that. Like at most they'll give him 15, 20 maybe a year. But for a number 2 guy on a number 2 pass rusher, I don't think so. You could probably get him on a friendlier deal. Now, William Jackson, that's another story because he might not be a lockdown, but good corners are a commodity that's hard to come by in the NFL. Yeah. And if you let him go, then who's going to replace him? Trey Waynes, and that's it. Like you just have Trey Waynes, so
or Sims or Sims.
Yeah, put Sims on the opposite of Wayne. That's why we took Wayne, was to be the opposite of WJ3. So, that's why we took him. That's what I could see where Mike Brown and Zach Taylor and everybody were thinking with what we did with the defense. And then Reeder got hurt, and then our pass rushers
got hurt. Everybody got hurt.
Our pass rushers didn't pan out. Hubbard, he's not even really panned out like I thought he would. But he was always kind of in the shadows.
He keeps getting. He can't stay healthy. I mean, he started coming around again toward the end of the year. Now, Crip wants to know. I didn't know I was, but he said, "Why are you guys in a bad mood tonight?" We have Frank Mother-loving Pollock and Joe freaking Burrow. Come on, guys.
Frank Pollock, baby. Woo!
All right, Steve. Anyway, you got anything else, Natty?
No, that's it, guys. Thanks for having me on again.
All right, brother. Thanks, man.
You got it, Natty.
All right, Steve. Let's get his comment here. There are notable drop-offs when Willie leaves. With Wayne's, the secondary should be more consistent. Lawson is undeniably the team's best pass rusher. He's the top 5. He's not top 5, dude.
He's not, bro.
He's not. I love you, Steve. He's not top 5.
Yeah, I mean
top 10, maybe. I think they stretch on that. He's not garbage. We need to keep him, but to me, on a good team, he's your 3rd best pass rusher on a good team. I think he's fast. He's short. And how many times has he got to the quarterback this year and he couldn't get him down?
Yep.
In that one, the first game against the Squealers, Lawson is on the ground pulling on Ben's ankles.
Oh,
and
he just
I bet Ben just shakes him off, and just flicks that ball into the end zone. So he's not a top 5, dude. He's just not.
I know I keep on bringing up like Myles Garrett, but we could go on. We could really talk about a ton of great pass rushers in this league.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, though. By the way, Steve, we love your opinion, brother.
Yeah.
Keep bringing your opinions on, man. And just because I may not or we may not together, and we don't even agree on everything, but keep bringing your opinions,
that guy's an idiot. That guy right there, he's an idiot sometimes.
I can't help it.
But yeah,
I'm on an idiot show here.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean,
no, Steve, we lost.
yeah, I mean, I really do. I mean, I don't see the Bengals. They got to fix the defensive line. If they don't sign Lawson and they don't sign WJ3, we're going to be in trouble because we can't lose the talent that we have. We got to keep the talent that we have. But we already have enough holes to try and fix on that offensive line and on the defensive line. So you got to keep Lawson. And I just don't see. I don't want to give him that much money, man, because I want to use that money for other things.
Exactly.
I don't know. All right, Coleman. Yeah. Let's see here. Now, if he turns into that, great. Awesome. I'll pay him all the money in the world. I got no problem with it. But right now,
he's had 3 years.
Yeah. All right, Coleman, do you guys expect Burrow to play week 1, day 1? And if so, this year prove we need an O-line. What are you willing to give up in a trade, AJ or Ross? Well, we can't trade AJ or Ross. Both of them are done. Yeah. They're both free agents. Yeah. I think Burrow will be here for the first game of the season. I don't think he's going to play in any of the preseason or anything of that. Jeremy, your thought?
I'm a little more skeptical, but I am hopeful. I just hope that no matter what, there's going to be some really good, solid backups out there. I don't know if Brandon Allen is our answer. If I hope he is back 100%. But when I heard him say, I plan on being back for game 1, but I'm not going to be doing anything in the summer, any preseason, any training camp, that worries me just a little bit, but I hope he's back game 1. If not, I hope the Bengals are ready for it. And you've always got to imagine the worst and hope for the best. So make sure you bring in somebody that's going to be able to win you a few games just in case Burrow is not back. As of drafting or trading players, yeah, like Jeff said, Ross, AJ, there's nothing we can do with them.
Yeah, they're free agents. We can't trade them.
Our free agency and draft is going to say it all for our team.
And now they said Lawson is the number 2 pass rusher and Hubbard is a rotational lineman.
That's if they were on other teams, that's probably about right.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Is McKenzie coming back? We hope so. We got to sign him. Yeah.
He only signed a 1-year deal, so.
Which he's injured. I think there's a good chance that we can sign him.
Yeah.
Steve, appreciate you guys. Who day, new day, all day, every day. Appreciate you too, brother. Thanks for your comments.
You're damn right, bro.
But I mean, I don't know if not with the Bengals needing a center, I don't know if they could completely fix the defensive line in this year. I hope they can, but with us needing, we really do. We need 3 offensive linemen now. I mean, we really do. You got to have, and what I'm hoping is one of the guys they sign can, play guard and center until Trey Hopkins comes back. Now Tooney is the guard that everybody's talking about signing. I have not seen anything about him ever playing center. So he's played tackle before, but not center that I know of.
And well, like I mentioned earlier, we got BJ Finney from the Seahawks in the Carlos Dunlap deal.
Right.
So, you never know. The kid could really shine.
Who knows? Billy Price, he was excited that Frank Pollock's coming back. Maybe Billy Price will he did play good in, a couple games. He's not consistent, but if Trey could come back, week 2 or 3, if Billy could just hold it together for 2-3 games, we might be okay. I don't know for sure. I have no idea. I'm just saying maybe we can. And honestly, my personal opinion,
it's hard.
I think that's what the Bengals will try and do. I think unless they draft one in later rounds, if they draft a center in later rounds, I think there's a good chance that they'll do that. I don't see them. They're not going to sign a center. They already have one. And his name's Trey Hopkins. And he's pretty good. Yeah. So they're not going to sign a center. They just got to find a stopgap gap. Yeah. And right now it's either Billy Price or Finney, or they draft a kid, which they could. I can totally see that happening.
Kind of throw a wrench in everything with that happening. Like you said, last game of the year. That's the last thing we needed, and now, it's just something else that we're going to have to work through, go through, and figure out, who's the best guy for the job, man.
Exactly. All right, Crown, let's talk about the Reds. Well, Crown, I started the show out with that, and nobody started talking about it. But the Reds signed avoided arbitration on a couple players today. Michael Lorenzen. Let's see who else. They got the Noel Remy. That's the guy they got from the Iglesias deal. They signed him. Garrett, Jesse Winker. So they avoided arbitration on those guys, and they signed a international outfielder who is ranked 26th in the top 30 of international players. If you want to talk Reds, I got no problem talking Reds. They're just not doing anything. I don't think, despite reports, I don't think the Reds are sellers. I don't really think they're buyers either, to be honest. I mean, the only person I think the Reds might sign is Gregorius, but we'll see what happens. But there's Reds talk. But you guys want to talk Reds, bring it. The show kind of goes to whatever's going on in the chat and whatever you guys want to talk about. NFL picks this weekend. That's a good question there, Chris. Actually, I wrote those down. Let's see here. Who you got this weekend, Jeremy? Anybody?
And to be honest with you, I really don't give a crap. I'll take, I'll be with Jen and root for the Buccaneers. I don't like rooting for Brady. I think the Chiefs are going to win it all, but we'll see. That's where I'm at.
Let's see here. We can go through them here.
My team's sitting right here behind me.
Yeah, exactly. NFL playoffs, you got Rams versus Packers on Saturday and Ravens versus Bills. If you're asking me, it's Rams at Packers. I don't see a California team going to Green Bay and winning in January. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to ball out. Ravens Bills. This game, I think I'm looking forward to this one.
Yep.
Especially if it's snowing. And Lamar Jackson has not played football in the snow before. And Josh Allen is balling out, and that team is playing really, really good. But so are the Ravens. I think this might be the matchup of the weekend. To me, it's a toss-up. I will be rooting like crazy for the Bills because I can't stand the Ratbirds. So yep. I will probably pick the Bills because I just want them to win. And that's kind of the way I do my.
The Bills always won for
my picks. Yeah.
They always
Browns, Chiefs.
You get them in the playoffs a couple years back, last year, whatever it was.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Then Sunday you got Browns, Chiefs. The only chance the Browns have is they got to control the ball. They got to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. And if they don't, I think Chiefs are going to win. I do think the Chiefs are going to win. I'm kind of pulling for the Browns just because. I know they're in our. It would kill me that they go farther in the playoffs than we have, and yeah, it will kill me. But I also feel bad for the Browns fans. I know a couple of them, so yeah. So and then I got the Buccaneers over the Saints. That's who I think I think Tom Brady. I think it's gonna be hard to beat Tom Brady 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I really think the Bills have a great chance. To be honest with you, I hate. There's one thing. There's two things. I can't stand in life is drama, and when my dad's right about quarterbacks in the draft. And we watch the draft every year, and when the Bills took Allen, he goes, "This kid, oh my gosh, this kid, you have no." I'm like, you don't even know. You haven't watched it. Oh, I've watched him play enough. I know he's going to be good. It took him a couple years, where I ragged on. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I gave my dad hell about it for a couple, the last 2 years, whatever. I think this is third year, maybe third year, I think. And then, by gosh, here we go. And he's in the playoffs. He's winning games. He's got a cannon for an arm. God bless him. And I can see them giving Baltimore every single bit they can handle. And I can see that defense putting an end to Jackson's little running around for 20 yards here, 50 yards there, if it's snowing, cold, whatever.
Oh, dude, I hope it's a freaking blizzard. Just because that's football, man. That's football weather. I'll be sitting down here in the ice cave, nice and warm and toasty, watching them. But dude, I love going to. I've been to multiple football games where it's snowing, and it is a freaking blast being there when it's snowing and it's cold. I mean, I'm all bundled up nice and warm and everything, so it doesn't bother me. I'm not the one playing the games, but it's so much
That
fun.
beer helps you stay warm, I'm sure.
Yeah, that might
Jackets
help just a little bit. It just helps a little bit. So, anyway, it's a Friday. I think we're going to roll on out of here. Let me go through the Facebook groups that we help run. They are Bengals Nation, which yesterday was the 8th anniversary of Bengals Nation. So I got to give a shout out to Mike, the creator of Bengals Nation. Bearcat Country, Reds Country, Cyclones Country, and we live stream on the Ohio State Bucknuts. We don't run that one, but we just live stream on it. I'll be pulling a sound off this later, putting it on the podcast. Rate, like, review, Beanpot, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, pretty much wherever you get your podcast, I am on there. And then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. You guys want to message me there. On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then me and this moron do silly TikTok videos, which are pretty funny. And YouTube, like I said, I appreciate you guys. I am at 808 subscribers. If you guys are watching on any of those Facebook groups, go to YouTube. Please subscribe to Sports with Strawberry Ice. I am less than 200 away from 1,000 subscribers. I've been working my butt off. This is not easy to do an hour to an hour and a half show, and I appreciate Jeremy and Mike when these guys come on to give me something to talk to, somebody to talk to, and when you guys get on the show and comment, it gives me things to talk about and people to talk to. So I appreciate all of you guys for helping me out. And other than that, Jeremy D, would you do the honors so we can roll on out of here?
Sure will, buddy. I want to let everybody know that the chat's still rolling. You guys keep on doing your thing. Gives you more to look forward to on Monday. So, as always, we will be here. We're not going anywhere.
Back pain and all. I got to give it up to Jeremy. Jeremy has been he's been almost on the DL the last 2 days. He's got a bad back, so he's been sitting there cringing and in pain. So I gotta give it up to my boy. He's been sitting there and pulling through it. So that's how you fight through it, Jeremy. That's how you do it, baby. Just like that.
When you're this guy here, okay, this guy, all right. Sometimes you just gotta suck it up, be a man. But anyway, guys, we'll get you out of here. Y'all have fun. Go to the ice bar, check it out. Like Jeff said, tell your friends, family, come join us. Come join the show, Sports Strawberry Ice YouTube. And as always, remember, you don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati. So act like it. Hooday. And let's go Buckeyes. Basketball now. Woo.
Hooday. And just remember, Jeremy, there's no crying. There's no crying on Sports Strawberry Ice. You play through the pain, baby. You play through the pain.
Always.
You guys have a great weekend. Hooday. Let's go Bearcats. Let's go Reds. And other than that, that's just sports, baby. See ya!